Hey folks, Bubba Washington here, and today I'm reviewing Space Hulk Death Angel, the card game, designed by Corey Kanitsa and published by Fantasy Flight Games. Find out how tough this game is, and if you're able to have what it takes to survive. I feel like I should be playing some bolt thrower or something like that, but I'll probably get a copyright strike, but whatever. Alright, let's take a quick look at how a game is set up for a solo version of Space Hulk, a Death Angel card game. The way it's set up is if you look at the top right here, you have your event deck and your Gene Stealer deck. You're going to shuffle these cards and put them together. Then next thing you're going to do is you're going to build a location deck. And the instructions tell you how to do that, and there's also a reminder text on the card. Key things you need to remember is on each side of these tells you how many of the Gene Stealers are going to go in each of these spawn piles. From there, you look at the right side right here, and it goes from, if you count from top down, you'll learn where you need to put the train. Like in this one, it says put the train on number 1 and number 3. So starting from the first guy down, the door right here goes here, and then down here is a dark corridor. Now on the left side, on the right side, you'll start from the top, or from the bottom up. So this one says put the vent right here, the third one from the bottom, and then the corridor from the second from the top. Alright, so that's how you'll set up the thing with your train. Next thing you'll do is you need to set up your squad, how they're going to be arranged. You'll randomly set them up, and you'll notice that the top 3 are facing, they have an arrow on this side of their portrait, and that tells you which way they're facing. The top 3 are facing to the left, and the bottom 3 are facing to the right. Now once that's set up, what you'll do is you'll draw 3 cards from here, and this will be where you'll spawn your Gene Stealers based on whether the major number or the minor number. Now if you look at this card right here, at the very bottom, you'll see that we have 2 yellow arrows, one for a yellow location and one for a red location. And what that means is that we'll have major spawnage at those locations, and based on the location card, it tells you how many Gene Stealers spawn. Well, in this case, we'll spawn 2 at the yellow location. When they come from the same pile that they're on, and then we have 2 at the red location. This is ventilation duct. And after they spawn, they have a movement phase, and the way it moves is that you'll see there's arrows down here that say left and right, up and down, which they move, but if there's 2 arrows, it means the whole swarm of these people move. Now you'll see that there's also a symbol, and that tells you what type of Gene Stealer there is. Now the way the Gene Stealer works, in that case this one had the snake symbol on there, so this one was one that moved up. So it'll move up to the location of the closest thing, and it tries to move in the most advanced location. So like if it's moving along the corridor, but if it can, it tries to flank the Marine, and it's essentially flanking the back of it right here in this situation. So that's just the first card we have. And then when you do that, you discard. You go on to the next 2 locations. In this case, another 2 major spawn. Right here. Right here. And any ones with the claws moving. I don't see any ones with the claws, so don't have to worry about that. And then we got lucky and we only had minor spawns right here. We spawn right here, and we also spawn at this location right here. And I do not see any of the ones move. But as you can see, like this location, it would only move 1 down. Alright. And then that's good. It goes over here. So now the game is set up and you're ready to go. So it looks pretty overwhelming. You have a series of Gene Stealers facing down your Space Marines. Now the way it works is that there's the first part of the turn is you're choosing your actions, and there's 3 different actions: move and activate, support, and attack. Basically, when you move and activate, you can move the position of the Marines along their formation. You can flip them facing different ways. Like for example, you can move him out of the way and turn him a different way. You can also activate items within this door. You can put an activation token on that. Essentially allows you to take that action when you move and activate. Next is support, and the support basically is like cover fire. So if you're going to, support, say the yellow guy was going to support the red guy, he could put a support token on him, and that allows him when he attacks, if he misses, he can use the support token to reroll. You can put a support token on pretty much any of these people you'd like. The third action is flat out attack. On each card, there's a range that how far they can attack. He has a range of 2, so he can attack right here and he attack right here. But he couldn't attack up here. He'd have to move to be able to attack here. Like this, but this guy right here has a range of 0, so he has to be right here in front of him to attack. Range, it also affects the way they're facing too. So he can point. So this guy having a range of 2, as long as he's whatever way he's facing, he can fire 2 away. It's not like he can turn around and fire behind him. Now there's also special activated abilities on each card. You can activate those at any time too during the phase. So while this person may look like he's in a bad situation, if he activates his special ability, he might be able to eliminate some of these prior to him actually getting into a worse situation. So that's the next phase. You resolve the attacks. Then the way let's go back over to the way they attack. So basically, when you attack, you roll the dice. If you get a skull, 1 skull kills 1 gene stealer. If you miss with no skulls, then you miss. Then the next phase is a gene stealer attack, and what they do is they attack in a group. So, like for instance, at the top right here, we have 3 gene stealers. They need to roll 3 or less. Wait, I believe it's yes, 3. The number or less to be able to attack the Space Marine. So in this situation, 3, they got a 50% chance. In this situation, it's a little bit less than that. So these 2, if they were going to attack this guy, he would roll 2. And in this case, they roll a 1 and they end up wiping this guy out. If you get attacked by a gene stealer that's behind you, you pretty much die. And so when you die, you're removed. And we go on to the event phase. The event phase, we would take one of these cards and resolve it. And we're going to also, when we resolve it, the event, then we'll actually add more gene stealers and stuff like that too, and they'll move. And then this is when phasing for reformation occurs, where we'll have to move up the squad to fill in the holes. That way we're left with our dead Space Marine brother here. Now, the idea of the game though is you're trying to fight off the gene stealers, and you're running through a Space Hulk, and to get to a certain point where you're going to fight one of the the boss gene stealers. And what they're a little bit different in the sense that they have 2 symbols here that they indicate where they move at, and they have a -1 on the dice. So if it makes it a little bit easier for them to help kill off Space Marines. But the way travel works is if any time these spawn piles are empty during any phase, you'll travel to the next phase, and you'll just essentially wipe out your locations, refill the spawn points, set up terrain. And any gene stealers that were there with you will follow you. The only reason they won't follow you is like some terrain has abilities like the door. If you activate the door, essentially when you travel, you'll shut the door behind you, and gene stealers won't be able to travel with you. But if you didn't activate this and you did travel, they would follow you as well. So that's pretty much the way the game goes. You're racing through the Space Hulk, trying to survive, trying to kill all the gene stealers and win. It's a very tough game. As you can see, just looking at a setup right now, it's overwhelming. One thing to keep in mind though is that when you use your actions, you have to put a little token on here. Like say we attack with the red people. Now that we have the token on here, we can't essentially attack again. Next round we have to pick something else, and then when we do that, we would essentially block that action for the round after that. It's like I said, it's a pretty straightforward game. It's very brutal. Just looking at the basic setup right here, the odds seem very against the Space Marines. And as you progress through the game, it gets more and more difficult. So definitely a game worth checking out though. The Warhammer 40k universe is known for being traditionally dark and scary and gritty and very unforgiving to all those who inhabited that universe. This game is of no exception. The game is definitely dark and gritty, and it definitely beats up on the players as they play. It's a traditional co-op game, so when you're playing solo, you'll be taking on the role of 3 combat teams, which is essentially 6 different characters, and having to manage their actions throughout the game. This game is definitely brutal. If you don't like being beat up a lot and kicked around in games, you're probably not going to enjoy this. But if you do like a challenge, and it's very satisfying and rewarding to win this game because happens very rarely, this definitely is the game for you. The only issue I had with this game is the rule book is kind of weird. It's talks about a lot of rules in some places that you don't initially get covered until later in the rule book, and it's like a lot of back and forth skipping around. And you'll definitely need to read this rule book, 4 or 5 times to really fully understand how to play the game. But once you get it, it clicks, and it makes a lot of sense. If you're one of these type of people that likes to pimp out their games, this is definitely the game to be able to do that, because not only can you get great minis, you can get awesome actual official Games Workshop minis if you're willing to spend all that money on it and really make this game shine. If you're one of those people that likes to do that, I haven't done that because obviously Games Workshop minis are expensive, and I don't necessarily play this game enough to justify it. Although maybe one of these days, if I ever get into miniature painting, I probably will do this rather than actually take up Warhammer 40k, because it's surely a whole lot cheaper to pimp this game out than it would be to build out an army in 40k. Anyway, so like I said, if you really like gritty games that are like really tough to beat and are really satisfying after you get go through the game tens of times before you win, then this game for you. If not, you're probably not going to enjoy it. One downside about this game right now, it's currently out of print with Fantasy Flight losing the license to Games Workshop games. I don't know if this game will ever come back in print under Games Workshop, because they're starting to do a lot of more board game style games. So there's some chance that you may have to pick this up on the secondary market, or if you happen to find it like in a bargain bin or something with your local game store. That's where I picked up my copy in. So I would say definitely be on the lookout for that. There's some expansions for these games. However, the expansions were print on demand, so they may be a little bit more tough to find, but you never know. If you troll around on the internet for long enough, I'm sure you'll find something that if you're willing to pay the price for it. Once again, like I said, I recommend this game if you really enjoy games that are super tough. And if you don't, it's just not your cup of tea. Hey, Bubba Washington here. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to watch my video review of Space Hulk Death Angel, the card game. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoy my weekly board game reviews and you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're coming up on 100 subscribers, and when we do, we're going to have a Q&A. So if you leave a comment down in this video, like a question that you want me to ask during our Q&A for 100 subscribers, I'll be glad to do that. Once again, you can find me online in various different locations. Just check the video description where you can find me for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Once again, my name is Bubba Washington, and thanks for watching my video review.